Welcome to Explained by a C Student, where I aim to break down complex issues and systems from a C student's perspective. Let's get into it. Today, in light of what happened on the East Coast, we discuss earthquakes. Let's not waste any time. Earthquakes are natural phenomena characterized by the sudden shaking or trembling of the Earth's surface. They result from the release of energy stored in the Earth's crust, causing seismic waves to propagate through the ground. Causes of earthquakes: tectonic plate movements. When tectonic plates, large pieces of the Earth's crust, interact with each other, they can cause earthquakes. For example, the San Andreas Fault in California is a result of the Pacific Plate and the North American Plate sliding past each other. Volcanic activity. Earthquakes can be triggered by volcanic eruptions as magma moves beneath the Earth's surface, creating pressure and leading to seismic activity. An example is the series of earthquakes associated with the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in Italy in 79 AD. Effects of earthquakes. Ground shaking. The primary effect of earthquakes is the shaking of the ground, which can range from mild tremors to violent shaking depending on the magnitude of the quake. For instance, the 2011 Tohoku earthquake in Japan registered a magnitude of 9.0, causing intense shaking felt across the region. Structural damage. Earthquakes can cause significant damage to buildings, infrastructure, and other man-made structures. The 1906 San Francisco earthquake resulted in widespread destruction, with many buildings collapsing or being damaged beyond repair. Landslides and tsunamis. Seismic activity can trigger landslides on steep slopes and underwater landslides that generate tsunamis. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami, with a magnitude of 9.1-9.3, caused immense devastation across multiple countries, resulting in over 230,000 deaths. The aftermath of earthquakes. Aftershocks. Following the main earthquake, aftershocks, which are smaller tremors, can occur. These can further damage weakened structures and hamper rescue and recovery efforts. For example, the 2010 Haiti earthquake was followed by numerous aftershocks, complicating relief operations. Humanitarian crisis. Earthquakes often lead to humanitarian crises with significant loss of life, injuries, and displacement of populations. The 2015 Nepal earthquake, with a magnitude of 7.8, resulted in over 9,000 fatalities and left millions homeless, requiring urgent humanitarian aid. Reconstruction. Rebuilding infrastructure and communities is a long-term process after a major earthquake. The reconstruction efforts following the 1995 Great Hanshin earthquake in Japan, which caused widespread damage in the city of Kobe, lasted for years and involved extensive urban renewal projects. Now, specifically speaking to the East Coast, earthquakes are relatively less common in the Atlantic region of the East Coast compared to areas along tectonic plate boundaries, such as the Pacific Ring of Fire. The East Coast of the United States is situated within the interior of the North American Plate, away from active plate boundaries, which generally experience more frequent seismic activity. However, while rare, earthquakes can still occur in the Atlantic region of the East Coast. These earthquakes are typically of lower magnitude and less frequent compared to regions near plate boundaries. The eastern United States is characterized by ancient faults and zones of weakness in the Earth's crust, which can occasionally produce earthquakes when stress is released along these features. One notable seismic zone in the eastern U.S. is the Central Virginia Seismic Zone, where earthquakes have been recorded, including the 2011 Virginia earthquake with a magnitude of 5.8. Additionally, parts of the East Coast, particularly New England, may occasionally experience smaller earthquakes or tremors, although they are infrequent and generally low in magnitude. In summary, while earthquakes are less common in the Atlantic region of the East Coast compared to areas near plate boundaries, they can still occur due to localized geological features and ancient fault lines, albeit with lower frequency and magnitude. I hope I've been able to help you understand something new from the perspective of a C student. If you're still here, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and tell a friend to tell a friend. I'd love to hear your feedback. Look out for the next video on Explained by a C student.